Hey, Taylor. Season 2! Yeah, how is YouTube? Because I've never actually used YouTube's backend myself. How is it? Nice. Did you have to do much like porting or anything on the Streamlabs end or OBS end, whatever you use? Nice. Short answer, laziness. The cooler sounding answer, efficiency.
Motherfucker, I forgot to unmute my goddamn microphone in Streamlabs
Wow.
again.
Wow.
Oh my god, we're off to a great fucking start.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Hi everybody.
Fucking shoot me.
Oh, well, there goes, like 2 good minutes of cold intro content.
I mean, hey, they heard your dulcet tones, but not mine.
So I was just talking to myself.
You didn't
have all audio sources muted. You just had yourself muted.
Me.
Okay. That's going to be real fun to listen to the playback. Ooh.
I'm a professional streamer, I swear. I promise. Welcome to Season 2 of the LAN Party Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor. That's my co-host, Joel. We have a lot of things to get into. First and foremost, why is the LAN Party Podcast broadcasting live to YouTube instead of Twitch? Short answer number 1, laziness. It's easier for me to upload it if I just stream directly to YouTube. It's already uploaded. Boom. That part of the job is done. The second reason is because this actually ties into my first big announcement, and that is the fact that I'm going to, I honestly didn't think this far ahead. I'm going to arbitrarily pick a date here. February 1st, Monday, February 1st, I'm launching my Patreon. So that is going to be a platform that you can directly support me on. That music can stop. We don't use that song anymore. You can.
This is great for me because I don't hear any of the sound effects on my end.
No, it's the intro music ran. It ran out, and then YouTube decided, hey, autoplay next song. I'm like, no, but I'm launching a Patreon. It is a place where you can support me more directly, and I will be offering several different perks, including 1 week early access to YouTube videos, as well as, and this ties into why the LAN party is now on YouTube instead of Twitch, exclusive access to my Twitch VOD archive for all of my streams from January 2021 moving forward. So all of my Twitch streams from this month now moving forward, they will I won't be highlighting and saving them on Twitch anymore. Obviously the stream, it'll stay on Twitch for a little bit automatically, but then once it's gone, it's gone. Instead, I will be uploading the VOD, the video on demand, of all of my streams to a private YouTube playlist exclusively for people who support me on Patreon. So you will get full exclusive access to my Twitch VOD archive from January 2021 moving forward. And those are just some of the things that I offer. I'll go into more detail later on. But that is big announcement number 1. My Patreon is launching February 1st. Second big announcement, I'll try to make this quick. There is a change happening in my merch store, shop.spreadshirt.com/reachesbeast. The Black Label collection, which was previously a seasonal collection, I only brought it around during summertime. That is now a permanent collection, and the proceeds from the Black Label collection will now go to benefit Berry Good Buys, BUYS. They're a local nonprofit resale shop here in my home city of Fort Worth. And their whole purpose is to help women and children who are escaping domestic violence. So making sure that they have clothes, all the basic necessities that they would need. And like I said, they're local right here in Fort Worth. I'm more than happy to start supporting them this year, and all the proceeds from the Black Label collection on my Spreadshirt store will now go directly benefit that organization. So I'm really excited to be pairing with them. And of course, the Pink Ribbon collection as well, benefiting the American Cancer Society. That has not changed. That never will change. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about games, because that's why we're here.
Yeah, games and tech, because this last week was CES.
This last week was CES, and we got a lot of really interesting tech news. I pulled up a few articles that I really wanted to talk about. Got some stuff from Samsung, just because I'm a Samsung whore. Like I'll fully admit
you're gonna have to lead me through this, because I'll be honest, I did not pay attention to CES at all. That like I'm a software guy. I'm good on different platforms and apps. I'm all good with that. I put no skill points whatsoever into hardware. I just don't really care. Like I'm running off a Mac. This is a new Mac, so it's nice, but I know it's not as powerful as a custom built PC. People tell me it's easy to build a PC. I have no idea how the heck to do that. And just I run my tech into the ground. I use it well. I maintain it. But just I'm the type that's I don't need the latest and greatest. I need something that will get me from point A to point B and run the required programs. And you all can worry about whatever the bleeding edge tech is and pay however many thousands of dollars to get it all souped up and whatever. If that's your thing, good on you. I just can't be bothered, frankly. As long as I can play the games I want to play, that's really all I care about.
I hear you, and I will say this: you, I can't stand Apple. I legitimately cannot. I hate their hardware. I hate them as a company.
It's like, and
You
I've
should.
found myself getting more and more annoyed by Apple as I realize just how many things I want don't run on Apple. Or like there was a thing with OBS and Streamlabs that broke with the Big Sur update, so the recent OS update. That broke in November, and thank goodness I had no reason to do some back end widget stuff. But then I did that this weekend for a side thing, and suddenly OBS and Streamlabs crash on open, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I looked it up, and it turns out that this has actually been an issue since last November, and that it took them until I got really lucky that on Tuesday, OBS and Streamlabs released a patch for Big Sur, so I'm back up and running. But if I had hit this issue, in November, I'd be out of luck for 2+ months.
Jeez.
And like the fact that people like the I know that the user base for streamers is going to be more on PCs than on Macs, obviously. But I have to presume that there's something like, at least 20% of streamers have to use Macs. I feel like that's not an absurd number to throw out there as an estimate. And for, 20% of people to just be locked out for 2.5 months, that's mind-boggling to me. And like, I wanted to get Phasmophobia recently and was like, nope, can't do that. It's only on PC. Well, crap. And just I'm a bit frustrated with myself that I got the Mac. Is like, I like it and it does what I need it to do, but I'm starting to realize maybe I should have just, put on the big boy pants and gone with a PC. Like, even if it's not as streamlined and, easy to work with on the software side, because Apple software is awesome. It's really clean, it's easy to use, it's very intuitive, it's nice. But my gosh, does having their own OS, like, it's partially a safety thing because it means that just people don't really write viruses for Macs because, to their credit, the OS being so difficult for developers to develop for, it also has, all those layers of protection that make it extremely difficult for more nefarious folks to try and mess with a Apple user. And that's certainly nice. But then at the same time, that's part of what leads to, developers having issues.
Hmm. Don't worry, we'll make a convert out of you yet.
Yeah, like it's just like this is a love-hate relationship I have here. It's just like I can't even decide. Who knows? But yeah. So CES, what do we have going on over there?
So I pulled four thing. There was a lot that got announced. I went through and I just pulled four articles for now that I wanted to talk to. Um, talk about. I don't know.
Now, just before we
Yeah.
went live, you showed me an image of a very interesting piece of hardware,
We'll get to that.
and like it is fancy as heck. I'm curious as to why it exists, though.
We'll get to that. A couple things from Samsung that I want to talk about, just because I love Samsung's phones. It's pretty much all I've used for like the past.
What is
Maybe
different
past
about
like 5
Samsung to
years.
you? Like I know Samsung, like I use some Samsung phones for work, and they're fine. But I guess I don't know enough about different Android phones to really notice the difference of what Samsung offers in their tech versus, I don't know, Nokia or whatever.
Honestly, for me, it's really a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. My very first smartphone was purchased for me. This was many years ago. My dad bought our whole family smartphones for just for our family plan, and it was the Samsung Galaxy S3. This is the first smartphone I had ever used, first smartphone that really ever touched that wasn't mine. And I fell in love with it immediately. I was like, wow, this has a lot of functionality. It's got a lot of space on it.
There's
The
something really
camera
to
is
be
really
said
good.
for just brand loyalty and familiarity. Because, for instance, one of my siblings just grew up as an Apple geek, and just they always loved Apple tech. They actually went on to work at an Apple store at the Genius Bar for a bit over 4 years, I think. Um, and like they would always know when there were new releases coming. So when it came time to like get a smartphone, they were definitely pushing Apple. And like obviously Apple did have the first smartphones; so they were first to market with all that. But that's probably a lot of why I go with Apple products as well, just because it's what I'm familiar with, and if it isn't
Yeah.
broke, don't fix it. And it just when you get used to something and it's reliable, that's what you go with. That is a very core concept of marketing and business as a whole, just brand loyalty. That if you can get a customer once, statistically speaking, you've got them for life, and that's why companies will just fight tooth and nail to get you to buy an introductory product, because once they have you for something, even if it's small, just human nature of familiarity will bias you towards that product. Like same thing goes with just like my guess is whatever brand you use for clothing detergent is the same brand that your parents used.
Actually, yeah, it is.
What brand of toothpaste?
Okay, my brand of my toothpaste actually changed because I have sensitive teeth. So I switched
Okay, well that's
toothpaste. So like
that's a confounding variable of where like you have to get something that is particular. But like my guess is until you discovered that you needed this specialty product, that you were still using whatever brand that your parents had bought for you since you were a little kid.
I mean, even then as a kid, like they switched it up every now and then. But I mean,
Oh.
that's whatever. But like with Samsung, like I love the S3 to the point where when it came time to upgrade, I wanted to stay with Samsung, like specifically with the Samsung Galaxy series. So I went up to the Galaxy S5. Huge improvement. Love the phone. There was one time since I got my first smartphone, or since I got that S3, that I purchased a smartphone that was not Samsung. It was I got like an LG smartphone. I hated it. I regretted it. I could not wait to get rid of it. And the only reason I got that LG phone was because at the time it was all I could afford and it was all that was available to me. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just go ahead and get it. It's not the best phone, but I'll go ahead and get it. It'll serve my need until I can afford a better phone. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to get rid of it. And when I finally had that Samsung Galaxy S8 sitting in the palm of my hand, I was just like, euphoria. Like I was
Not
back where I
sponsored.
needed to be.
Please sponsor us.
Please. Samsung, send me a free one of these new phones you just announced at CES. The Samsung, how's that for a segue? Samsung Galaxy S21.
20. Wait, hold on. Have we really been through that many?
No, we haven't. The last
Okay,
the
because I
current
was
gen
like,
is S10.
that's what I thought. Because I was like, I have an S9 that I use for work, and this thing is pretty new. I was like, whoa, hold on. I feel like I missed something here. So we're skipping from 10 to 21. That's oh, it's the year. I get it. Oh, so that's like that's like you're pulling an Xbox there.
Exactly.
You're pulling an Xbox there.
You're pulling a Microsoft. Like that's just Microsoft in general, because we went straight from 8 to 10 for the Windows OS. But no, Xbox did the reverse. They went backwards. Remember? They
Well,
went
they
to
went
Xbox
up and then
One.
backwards because it was
exactly.
it was one, then it was 360, then
true.
it was one.
Um,
You'd think that companies that work with ones and zeros would know how to use numbers. Anyways,
I'm trying to confirm the release date here. It looks like it was actually released today?
oh, they just dropped it?
I think so.
Huh. Usually you don't see that for hardware. Usually that's a software type thing, because you know that people already have the means to use it. But dropping hardware, super fast is unusual.
Is the article from whathifi.com. Same website for all the articles that I pulled. Samsung has set a date for the launch of its next big flagship phone, the Samsung Galaxy S21. Oh wait, when was this written? Oh, this was written less than 2 weeks ago. Okay. The Tech Titan will reveal its latest range of Android devices, said to include the Galaxy S21, S21 Plus, and S21 Ultra, plus some new earbuds. Reveal. Okay. It'll reveal them today. They didn't drop today.
That makes much more sense.
I don't know if we actually have a release date yet. There's a video. Hold on in here. Let me take a look at this.
Hi everyone, we're professionals. We do our prep work and whatnot. This is not last minute, I assure you. Definitely not. No.
Oh, don't even lie. I was woefully unprepared for this stream today.
I definitely wasn't frantically Google searching gaming news at about 9 p.m. Central Time.
Let's see.
Well, anyways, while you look at that, let's go on and move on to the next product.
Okay. Let's see. Staying on the topic of Samsung, they have announced their 2021 TV lineup. Let me see what they have to offer here. Let's see. Neo QLED TVs with mini LED backlight tech. That sounds fancy.
What's the Q? Because I know what an LED is, but what's the Q? Quality, quaint,
quantum light emitting diode. Let's see.
Sounds fancy.
So in non-geek speak, that means a QLED TV is just like a regular LED TV, except it uses quote quantum dots embedded into its LCD panel, tiny nanoparticles that dramatically improve the color and brightness when compared to its non-quantum LED counterpart. So basically a much more detailed and much sharper image.
Do you remember the sharper image?
I remember sharper image.
Yeah, the store that you would go into and not buy anything.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Casey asking, did y'all hear about Pokemon Snap? Yes, we're going to be getting to that here in a bit.
Oh, hey, you're beating me to the punch here.
Yeah, don't worry. It's on the agenda for tonight. We'll get to that.
I have words.
See, a micro LED TV. Let's see, next gen TV technology that essentially takes the best qualities of OLED and removes more or less all of its shortcomings. Like OLED, each pixel is self-emissive, so one can be completely black while those next to it can be bright white or vibrant color. Okay, so the way that works, like in an OLED TV, all of the pixels are self-illuminating. There's no backlight to it. So, if the on like an older computer monitor, even if the screen is, if you have like a black screen, you can still see light emitting from it because it's backlit. Not the case with OLED TVs. In this case now, micro LED TVs. Each pixel is self-illuminating. So if there's any black on the screen, it's much sharper because it's not being backlit.
That makes sense, yeah.
Let's see. The new consumer micro LED TV, for which we don't yet have an official model number, measures an absolutely huge 110 inches on the diagonal. God damn.
Like, you need to have a lot of space to put these up. Like, we're getting into some just absurdity levels of, like, do you have the wall space for this thing?
It comes pre-assembled as a complete flat screen TV, unlike the commercial.
Try getting that into your car.
LEDs.
Like, pre-assembled? Like, do you need to rent a flatbed?
I assume you would have this shipped to you. There's no way this isn't.
Probably.
There's no way this is arriving at your door in anything smaller than a freight truck. There's no way.
Like if you live in an apartment complex and you need to navigate through halls to get it to your apartment, like that's going
Oh,
to be a nightmare.
oh,
Hopefully you
and
actually have, delivery people helping maneuver the thing.
and by the way, that's the consumer model. The commercial model is even bigger.
Oh
So big,
yeah.
in fact, it does have to be broken down into smaller modules that are then reassembled into various configurations. 110 inches on the diagonal. What the fuck?
That is almost 10 feet. That's about that's a bit under 10 feet. I can math. Yes.
That's
Jeez.
that's almost 1.5 of me. That is
Ugh.
no, that wouldn't even fit. That wouldn't even fit in my bedroom.
Like, and in order to really enjoy that, like, how far back do you need to be from the screen? Jeez.
I
Anyways,
imagine. I imagine something like this. This is primarily something you would use for a home theater.
yeah, like
And
this is for it. If you have the big bucks and you've made your own like home theater or are doing some like big entertainment center in like a semi-public space like an office or like a lobby of some place that you might put it there,
yeah. Um
or if you
so
just have too much space and money.
or that too. That just boggles my mind. Um getting a little nostalgic. JBL is kicking off their 75th anniversary with limited edition L100 Classic speakers. JBL, for those who aren't familiar, they're a company or a brand that their primary thing is speakers and stereo. Like I've seen their brands all over the place. Like hell, a lot of the PA systems in the queue lines at Six Flags have JBL speakers. They're everywhere. They are actually. Let me see if I can pull this image real quick. And they're basically kicking off their 75th anniversary by, I guess, re-releasing limited edition of an old, one of their older models. Joel, I'm sending this to you.
I assume this
Damn it.
has to be, like the frame is the old thing, but what's inside is new because no one's gonna want to buy a crappy 75-year-old tech thing. Okay, yeah, this is just,
Probably.
the classic brown lacquered wood exterior and the square grid foam on the outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks like something that you'd see in, just a classic movie sound studio type of thing. This is definitely a nostalgia model.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all
How
can.
big are these?
I don't know if y'all can see that on stream right
Their
now or
measurements on
not,
this?
but that's what they look like. Let me take a look. Okay, there it goes. Only 750 pairs will be available starting in May.
Oh wow, so these are collector's
Limited
items.
edition.
Like 750, that is limited.
The new L100 Classic 75 are based on the 2018 released L100 Classic, in which in turn were updates to the original 1970 L100 model. So it's basically a re-release of an updated version of their original model. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can. Oh. So you know how you were talking about big bucks?
Yeah.
Announced as one of the several new JBL products at the company's CES 2021 event, the L100 Classic 75 will be available from May and costs $5,500 a pair.
I I know that there are people who consider themselves audiophiles and say that they can tell the difference in the fidelity of a speaker or headphones, and I believe that to a point. I think that there reaches a threshold where if you say you can hear the difference, you're full of it. and you cannot convince me. Like this is obviously a collector's item and it's priced as such,
Oh yeah.
but you're not buying this because it has $5,500 worth of audio quality above and beyond the next highest, maybe $2,000 speaker set. That I know speakers are expensive, but this is for the hardcore, like I was saying earlier, brand loyalty geeks, the ones who just really associate with it. So this is a celebratory thing, and eh, like you always hear in the gaming community about limited edition stuff going fast. I wonder what it's like in the hardcore stereo community.
The measurements are at least of the original, which I assume this is close if not exact. 23 and a half inches tall to 14 and a half inches wide to 13 and 5/8 inches deep. So
Yeah,
it
so
stands
that's
at
pretty
almost
big.
2 feet tall.
Yeah,
But
so for all audio nuts out there, enjoy, I guess.
watch these go even faster than the RTX 3090s. Ah!
There were more than 750 of those.
Well, well, yeah, but still, like watch them still be gone just like that.
Oh yeah, no, there had
Um,
I assume that they're implementing some sort of lottery system for this. You can't just do a click go in this day and age for something at that low quantity. It just doesn't work that way anymore. Anyways, what else we got?
we have. This is the thing we were talking about at the top of the stream. Um, the Mercedes MBUX Hyperscreen is a giant 56-inch OLED in-car cinema. I'm going to post an image
This is
onto
for
the
someone
stream
who wants
now.
to feel like they're, driving a starship. That, from what I can tell, and you can correct me, Taylor, there doesn't seem to be any inherently new functional tech here. This is just if you want your entire car's dashboard to be a single unending screen, just like you like that smooth aesthetic. This is the product for you, I guess. Like it's cool. I'm not gonna fault it at all in that sense that you look at this and you say that looks really flippin' neat. This is not the car toy that I would necessarily go for, but once again, if this is your thing, like this is cool. It's different.
It says there are 12 actuators carefully positioned beneath the screen that give haptic feedback with every press. It's claimed that special coatings for the screen's cover plates help to reduce reflections, while the glass consists of scratch-resistant aluminum silicate. So, hopefully designed to not only be scratch-resistant, but also to reduce glare,
Yeah.
which is a big problem, especially when driving. Um,
Like, so props to the engineers behind this. That I look at this and I say, like, even if I am kind of, scoffing at it in terms of the necessity of this product's development, still full respect to the engineers behind it. That this is some serious, like, intense tech. That I know it's not easy to develop something like this, and especially when you're working with this just awkward oblong shape that I wonder how many just like stress and fragility tests they had to run on this thing, because when you're working with this type of shape and it getting, thin at certain points, you need to really make sure that what you have is durable, because this is the type of thing that, like, if it cracks, does the whole thing go? They probably have different hidden panels that ensure that, you know, one crack doesn't short circuit the whole thing. That
yeah.
they probably have, safety, fail safes in there, but like they have to develop that and really think about it. So I wonder how long it took to make this thing just from concept to actual production line.
Apparently, like it has a built-in AI system in here too. So like a lot of the magic appears to be in the software, not just the hardware. Um, Thanks to what Mercedes calls the zero layer, the user doesn't have to scroll through submenus or give voice commands. The AI actually helps provide dynamic aggregated content from the MBUX system and all the services contained within it. Think of a TV learning and displaying the apps you use most frequently for easier and quicker access.
That's something that I feel like smartphones are going to have in a couple of years because that's not a very difficult AI algorithm to work with. That's
Not
just
really, no.
alrighty. Like just have a back end counter of how many times has this app been opened, and then sort apps by number of opens.
Honestly, at that point, it's just a glorified algorithm. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's really just a it's a sorting mechanism. It's not even an algorithm. It's literally just imagine that if you had a playlist that sorted your most listened to song to the top. That's not a particularly difficult thing, but it's good functionality. And I'm kind of surprised now that I'm thinking about it. It's like why don't we have this? Why aren't we funding this?
And then back more on the hardware side, the fact that it's also an OLED display means that you'll benefit from all of the TV technology's plus points, including inky blacks, excellent contrast, and awesome viewing angles. And it did say that it does take after one of the more early 4K TV trends in the fact that, yes, it is curved.
Huh.
But let's see.
So I think that was 3, and you said you had 4 if I'm counting right?
No, that was all four.
Oh, all right. Well,
Because
neat.
the Samsung
Like,
phone, the Samsung
neat.
TVs, JBL, and the Mercedes.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, fun week for tech heads, for people who like hardware and everything like
Yeah.
that. Um,
JBL
I
actually
suppose
announced
this
a
is
lot of stuff this week that I'm going to go back and read through on my own time.
yeah, I know there's a bit of a divergence for our normally gaming podcast, but it is significant that CES is always, a big event. Um, and it's certainly gotten more futuristic in the past. In the past, CES used to be where you would see the next big thing because the CES, it is the Consumer Electronics Show. This is where you would get the reveals back in the day for the things that would become the next standard in global technology, the type of thing that like you would see at this show 3 years before it's in 20% of America's households. This is where you would see, like the first flat screen TVs. This is where you would see the first smart thermostats and things like that. There's this is the big show for the year for consumer tech innovation, and I'm sure that there are going to be things here that probably not the ones that we've covered today, but I'm sure that if you were to go digging through all the announcements that were made, especially in terms of like home living tech, that in 3 years' time or so, you will see stuff that was announced today really starting to like have a big foothold in the market. And smart doorbells, just any sort of smart home technology, more likely than not, got debuted at CES sometime in the past 7 years.
Would it be fair to make this comparison that CES is to household consumers what E3 is to gamers in the gaming industry?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a very easy analogy.
Okay.
Yeah, the only difference here is that if anything, this is usually a bit farther ahead, I would say, than E3. That usually when you see something at E3, it's usually stuff that's coming out within the next calendar year, with the exception of a couple things might be, teasers for way down the line. Whereas usually what you see at CES is really bleeding edge tech, and that some of the stuff will be coming out in a year, but some of this, even if it's coming out in a year, it's not going to be the type of thing that you see as necessarily mainstream tech for a longer amount of time. But that's more the nature of consumer electronics versus gaming software.
I got you.
that gaming software just moves faster. But yeah, now on to actual gaming.
On to actual
Uh,
gaming. Let's see.
I was gonna save it for last because for me it's the biggest thing. But since it was mentioned by someone in chat already, I'll bump it up. Um, so 2021 is Pokemon's 25th anniversary. It was 96 when Junichi Matsuda, uh, first debuted Pokemon, and eh, I'm someone who grew up with Pokemon. For my 7th birthday, my parents gave me the special edition Game Boy Color Yellow that came with Pokemon Yellow. I had played Pokemon Blue and Red a little bit at friends' houses, never got to go past, like the Viridian Forest, basically, because, when you're playing it at a friend's house, you don't get to really go that far in what is a long game.
Yeah.
But I loved the Pokemon anime, collected the Pokemon cards, had no idea how to play them until I got the one for Game Boy, but I collected them. I was there in the target demographic for the original Pokemania. And well, you were too, Taylor, but I actually don't really know that. Were you really into Pokemon when you were younger?
I was never allowed to own a handheld console, so I
Ah,
missed out.
huh. Interesting.
I
So, a little bit of backstory for me. I was able to own a handheld console. My parents would not let me have, a proper full console until my 10th birthday. But yeah. So, Pokemon is very, very near and dear to my heart, and for it to be the 25th anniversary, like there are articles from back in the day, just like Pokemon was supposed to be this fad. It was the epitome of late 90s fad culture in the way that it just popped up and was everywhere, and everyone expected it to burn out. Boy, did they show them. Pikachu is now one of the most recognizable fictional characters in the world. Period. Just a the cultural impact of Pokemon is just when you really look at it, quarter of a century, it's kind of staggering. And just in celebration, the Pokemon Company is starting to really roll out the festivities. The first thing that was, really unveiled today is the trailer for the new Pokemon Snap game, which has been, if you know anything about Pokemon fandom, apart from just the mainstream stuff, people have been clamoring for a new Pokemon Snap game for over a decade. I looked it up just before the show. The original Pokemon Snap for Nintendo 64 was released on March 21st, 1999. So we are looking at just over 22 years that Snap was actually very early in, well, at least in relativity now, early in Pokemon's life cycle. It has been literally 2 decades since we have had this, and it is something that a small but very vocal group of Pokemon fans has just been begging for, and frankly, it was something that I was shocked never happened on, like, the DS or the DSi because, it had those parallax cameras and stuff, and there was a pseudo, like, picture mode that you had, and it always felt so obvious, and, with the Wii U, that gamepad seemed like the perfect type of thing to have as a camera. So, it was sort of mind-boggling to fans that the Pokemon Company never actually made another game, and it was announced today that new Pokemon Snap will be released on April 30th of this year. So in just over 3.5 months' time. That's actually pretty fast. Um, I think it had been announced a while back,
Yes.
but we got the first full trailer today, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and I'm also biased. A good friend of mine is on the Pokemon social media team, and Pokemon Snap is her first game project where she is the lead in charge of social media marketing for new Pokemon Snap. So, Joyce, I'm so happy for you. Like, just not yeah. So I love Pokemon. I'm super hyped for Pokemon Snap, and I can't wait to play it. Like if you grew up with Pokemon, like, go watch this trailer. This just it's so clean, it's so colorful. Um, they're using the art style that's definitely from the Pokemon Go and, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So, very childlike, very, bright and colorful, but just seeing all the detail of the Pokemon and just one of the really big things of the original Pokemon Snap was the fact that they made these huge biomes and worlds, and it was a short game. There was only like 10, but you went and you kept going in and you kept scouring and finding new Pokemon and figuring out, oh, if I throw an apple at this Pokemon, that it will then get another Pokemon to come out of hiding to come for it. And then if I throw this other thing at them, it'll startle them and they'll do this special animation. Or if I knock this Charmander into a lava pit, it's going to evolve into a Charmeleon. And there's just all these different ways to interact with the environment and get all the different pictures. And that Twitter and Facebook is going to be flooded with just Pokemon images at the end of April and beginning of May.
Oh, and I honestly can't wait. Like I cannot wait to see the resurgence of Pokemon Snap, especially as someone who never got to fully experience it the first time around. Um, I am really, really looking forward to seeing everything from the community reactions and everything, to this newest iteration of
Yeah,
Pokemon
the other
Snap.
thing
And
I think that
I'm hoping I can be at the point too very soon. Hopefully by the time it comes out, that I can actually own a Nintendo Switch and be able to actually fucking play it for myself.
yes, please, like, do that. And just the other thing that, now that I think about it, that's probably going to happen is the fan art. Because obviously, the Pokemon fan art community is alive and vibrant and well and constantly making stuff. But just, I'm assuming that this is going to provide just a fountain of inspiration for the incredibly talented artists in the community. And you're going to see a lot of good secondary content coming out there as well.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, the other part of the Pokemon announcement today that it's only the beginning of the year. They're going to be doing just rolling announcements and stuff throughout the year. There's been rumors of an announcement, and I don't think that we don't really deal in rumors on this show in any significant capacity.
Not really, no.
But
But tell me anyway.
it's been trending on Twitter because the rumor mill has been so vibrant with it, and it's not something shocking if you're in the Pokemon community. That has been long suspected that uh, we've had remakes of the first generation of Pokemon in Fire Red and Leaf Green. We had remakes of the second generation with Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
I know where you're
We
going with
had
this. Okay.
remakes of the third generation with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And it's been, 4-ish years since then. We're about due for remakes of Generation 4, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. A very, very beloved region for sure. And there have been supposed leaks of an announcement. I don't know if I believe the leaks, but it's certainly, it's 25th anniversary. It's been a minute since we've had a remake. It's not an absurd thing. That it feels more like a prediction of an inevitability than a proper leak. Um, there have not been any leaked images, just supposed leaks of confirmations. But like I said, this is something that has always been inevitable. The remakes of the Pokemon games are always wildly successful. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. And the 25th anniversary seems like a pretty good when.
If you're gonna do it, it would have to be at the 25th, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I one of my roommates, like he has been hoping and praying that is what is gonna be announced, because like he's been following this stuff for a while, and like that is his, like, you ask him, he will tell you that is his favorite generation. So
Yeah, so this generation, this was the first one that was on the DS. So it's when Pokemon took just a massive leap visually, for sure. It is the first time that you had internet connections. So there was the global trade system, which allowed people to do trades across the world. It was a huge thing. Um, and it was also at the time of the Nintendo Wii, so this was really in, one of Nintendo's biggest heydays as a whole, so that's partially why I think so many people associate with it, because it was when Nintendo as a whole was riding high, so that was when a lot of people who, if you weren't already into Pokemon, were very likely to find themselves finally getting into it. But, the last announcement today for Pokemon is, I wouldn't call it the most I wouldn't call it shocking, but it's certainly the most interesting, I think, from just a not necessarily obvious level. Uh, so according to Pokemon.com, get ready to party, trainers. It's 2021, which marks 25 years of Pokemon. That's a quarter century of awesome video games, exciting animation, cool cards, and so much more. To mark this auspicious occasion, a year-long celebration including music collaborations, remembrances of previous travels through the world of Pokemon, special Pokemon trading card game collections, and plenty more are about to kick off. Um, of course, every party needs a great playlist. And to that end, Pokemon is teaming up with Universal Music Group and some of the biggest names in music to create a global music celebration dubbed P25 Music. Expect new songs from a wide range of musicians, featuring artists and award-winning superstars like pop icon Katy Perry. Details,
What?
including additional performer surprises, will be announced throughout the year. They've said that there will be everyone from, like global superstars to upcoming artists, but the headliner here, the big announcement is Katy Perry is gonna be part of the P25 music celebration. That's big. Not shocking that, like, if you go back in the day to the first movie in Pokemon movie 2000 music collections, they did collaborations with some some of the biggest music artists of the time. Like, there was a Backstreet Boys remix of some Pokemon song. I don't remember what it was, but they have worked with big music names before, but it's been a while since they've done something like this. And obviously, no better time than a 25th anniversary, but uh, they have not quite said what this global music celebration is going to be. My guess is that we're going to be talking a massive virtual concert. Like, you see this happen with a lot of idol groups in Japan in particular, that will just, you'll pay 50, $60 to be able to tune into a live stream of a concert, um, and especially given the state of the world right now and that we're still not gonna be going to in-person concerts for a while, it it is not only, feasible, but it's the only option they have. So, I also assume that there will naturally be, an album release of some sort, but, eh, the way that this is being phrased as a global music celebration suggests that it is something more than just an album. So, this is all the information we have right now, but I'm a Pokemon geek, and I'm a music geek, and I'm a video game music geek. Pokemon music is, up there for me, so I Katy Perry isn't exactly, my favorite artist. She's not someone that I see her name and I'm hyped, but to see the Pokemon Company going all out to get such a big name, even if it's not the big name that necessarily appeals to me, is inherently exciting. That I am excited to see what Katy Perry does with Pokemon music. That she is, even if not, my personal favorite artist, she is immensely talented, and I'm sure whatever they put out will be great. So,
She's
uh,
immensely talented, and also given given what given her music, her repertoire, and especially like her past music videos, Katy Perry and Pokemon, she can make it work.
yeah, and I remember looking up earlier that Katy Perry has done um video game collaborations before. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are, but this is not her first rodeo in doing, a gaming crossover, as it were. And just, you know, she's she's not a new talent. She's been around the block. I am sure that just she and her people, and plus the Pokemon Company is up there with Nintendo in terms of like they make sure that everything meets their quality bar. They do not let anything go public until it meets their very, very high standards. And the fact that even she's been announced must mean that they probably already have the song effectively done. Maybe there's still some mastering and mixing to do, but
Yeah.
the fact that her name has been announced means that something's already in the can. Something's ready or, in the final production stages. So we'll see what happens. They could do a thing where maybe they like release a new song every month or, every couple months or who knows. We really don't have more at this time, but uh, I don't think I've ever heard of something like this for a video game unless you count the League of Legends World Championship performances, but that's like a one-off. They're talking just the full-on celebration here is something that, you know, they didn't do this for Mario's 25th anniversary. They had a Mario orchestral concert, and they did that for Legend of Zelda as well, but they didn't have Katy Perry. So whatever they've got, it's big.
I can't wait to see it, honestly. And I've never been the biggest Katy Perry fan, just because like her music has never really really appealed to me. It's not my type, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Um,
same here.
but this I'm honestly really excited to see.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious as to what she and the Pokemon Company have cooking up, and I guess we will get to see it all in due time.
Yeah. So I have one other big piece of news, but do you have anything else, Taylor?
Uh, Not really. Pretty much all I have is more stuff from CES. Ooh. 2021
Well,
Jeep Grand Cherokee L serves up 19 speaker Macintosh sound system. I will look at that in the future. I'm not a Jeep girl. What's your news, Joel?
so yesterday I log in to Twitter and I see
That's dangerous.
Lucasfilm Games trending. And then I see a trailer for one thing and an announcement of another. So, Lucasfilm Games has announced that they are entering a partnership with Ubisoft to create an open world Star Wars game. That sentence is monumental in more than one way. One, open world Star Wars game. Holy crap. By Ubisoft. Holy crap. But by Ubisoft. Take a minute. That's different. That is, it's not just the fact that Ubisoft is a big, established, successful game developer. Ever since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012, EA has had total exclusivity of Star Wars game development. 8 years of exclusivity. They have said that EA has not lost the rights to Star Wars games, but they are no longer exclusive. That, sneakily, is the biggest announcement of that day. Not just the fact that there is going to be an open world Star Wars game, but that Star Wars is no longer bound to Electronic Arts. That Disney and Lucasfilm Games are open to shopping around the IP to other developers. And that is big. Because just now you can go to a specialty developer, like you could go to, I don't know, Wizards of the Coast or something if you wanted to do some sort of trading card game, or like you could do just who knows. There's so many possibilities when you actually open it up like this. The other big part of the Lucasfilm Games announcement yesterday is that Bethesda is producing a Indiana Jones game, and they had a short trailer and it looked clean. Indiana Jones was last seen in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and well, we all know how that went. Don't get me wrong, Indiana Jones remains, despite Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a very beloved franchise, but it has been a decidedly dormant franchise since its last outing. So
And for good reason.
what? Yeah, and while its name is certainly big and it's like that's exciting and ooh Bethesda, cool. Um, that is definitely the smallest news of that day, but still big. That the Indiana Jones fandom is. I feel like it's inaccurate to say that Indiana Jones is becoming a cult classic, but it feels like it's becoming a cult classic in that it doesn't have the name appeal and recognition that it had, frankly, prior to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It just if you think about it, the last because there was the 4 films, and that was about it. There's been no significant amount of supplementary media for it. It was certainly merchandised back in the day, but it's not something like Star Wars that has been just a fixture of popular culture. It's no Marvel, it's no Iron Man or anything like that. Um, but hey, good on Bethesda, and I hope they do it well. Oh,
Yeah.
and for what it's worth, they've said that the open world Star Wars game that Ubisoft is still recruiting, that actually it's been noted that if you go to Ubisoft's careers website right now, you can find just vague things about the game just in their job listings because there are now just a slew of job postings that went up yesterday with this announcement because now they're full on hiring for it. But one person of note that has been announced, uh, Julian Gerighty, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Gerighty, is going to be the game's creative director. He was previously the director of The Division 2 and The Crew.
Oh shit.
So take that for what it's worth. That this is a seasoned hand here.
I'm honestly um talking about like how Disney and Lucasfilm or LucasArts, how they're not opposed to shopping around for um other
Developer.
developers for their games.
Yeah. Well, my guess
I'm
is it's
well
never been a opposition. My guess is they had some sort of exclusivity contract that has finally expired.
possibly, but I'm just thinking. I'm surprised. I'm kind of, or maybe they have, or maybe they did start when the after all of the backlash from Star Wars Battlefront 2,
Battlefield, Battlefront, yeah.
which to their credit they fixed, but
But it was still quite a blemish.
it was quite a blemish, and I'm wondering if that might have been the final nail in the coffin for EA's exclusivity, where Disney LucasArts said, "All right, you had your chance, you fucked it up. As soon as this runs out, we're gonna find someone else."
My guess is it's not because generally speaking, just for something as big as Star Wars, exclusivity only befits them when they have limited and predictable releases, such as when you know that you have a film coming out every year. But that's about it. Now that the Star Wars universe is expanding, just via Disney Plus and all of the shows, that slew of shows they announced, that now it's not just all right. We're gonna have games for the mainline series and battles in the Galactic Civil War, but now it's we could have an Ahsoka Tano game, we could have a Mandalorian game, we could have any of those, like what was it, 10, 15 shows that they announced for Disney Plus. There's no way that EA alone would be able to develop things for all those new properties within the Star Wars universe. So now, even with the backlash aside, my guess is that whatever EA paid uh, Lucasfilm to have the exclusivity rights, because they probably paid a ton to get those exclusive rights. But now that there is just so much more that can be made into a game, I just don't think that there's any realistic way that Lucas or that EA would be able to pay enough to make it outweigh the potential of being able to create more games than EA simply has the capacity to produce. because now we're going to be talking potentially, like 5, 6 Star Wars games a year, and just EA can't do that. And then it's all right, even if EA paid enough in exclusivity fees to be the equivalent of 2 games worth of value, if you can make 6 games, you're going to take the additional 4 games worth of value. But that's my guess. Nothing, definitive has been published. But
Honestly,
given the timing in particular of just seeing, the announcements that we had in the past 3 months of all this new Star Wars content coming, that is my educated guess at why the exclusivity is lapsing.
looking at it like that, that honestly does make sense because, like you said, we've consistently, until recently, have had predictable movie releases when it came to Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's only one release a year. It's a big release a year, but
Yeah,
it's just that. And okay, yeah, you have the Star Wars Rebels TV show, but that's that is not a mainstream show. That was still just done. Even if I've heard great things about the Star Wars Rebels series, but it was still very much marketed towards kids. It was not a, all Star Wars fans type of content.
it was like that until season 3, when they
I've heard it took almost an Avatar spin where you think you're watching a kids show, or even like a Ruby spin, and it's like, no, we're getting real here. I did hear very good things about it.
It's not even that. It's they did something in season 3 specifically that made Star Wars, like diehard Star Wars fans of all ages, very happy. And that is they introduced a character who, up until then, had only existed in the what is referred to as Star Wars Legends, or the expanded universe, aka non-canon, not part of the Disney canon.
Yeah, they recanonized someone.
They officially brought into Star Wars Disney canon Grand Admiral Thrawn, and the Star Wars community lost their collective shit when that season 3 trailer dropped.
So hold on. This is significant to me. You're officially in spoiler territory for The Mandalorian season 2.
That
you
is
have
fine.
Been warned.
That's fine for me.
You have seen it, Taylor, right?
No, I haven't. I need to, but you.
Okay, well, so
Joel, I don't give a fuck. Say what you need to say.
The name Grand Admiral Thrawn is mentioned in Mandalorian season 2. That is all I will say.
Ooh.
That the name is mentioned. I don't have a frame of reference. The circumstances under which the name was spoken made it very obvious that there was weight behind this name. I thought, okay, they're foreshadowing to something of someone who's going to be significant. I did not realize that this was a pre-existing name that had, weight behind it. Who is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
I'm going to put it to you like this. Grand Admiral Thrawn is a very high-ranking officer in the Imperial Navy. I believe the only people...
Given the name, that I assume that this is, the general, Grand Admiral, that one of the highest-ranking officers in the Imperial Army. But why is it the name Grand Admiral Thrawn strikes fear into the galaxy? What is this character? Who is this character?
He is the Star Wars equivalent of Sun Tzu.
Oh.
Yeah. He is the
man of war,
master of the art of war, and they play to that so well in Star Wars Rebels, obviously as well as they can for it still being a kid show, but even then, still maintaining that marketing of it being a kid show, they push the envelope and really demonstrate his tactics, his mindset. Everything about him is cold and calculated, 5 steps ahead of his enemy, always thinking ahead. He is the most feared and formidable naval officer in the Imperial Navy, bar none.
Okay, now this is one other thing. I only saw one like Facebook post referencing this. So I have to assume that this is at best a rumor at this point in time. But I am now curious of your opinion. I saw
Okay.
someone on Facebook say something about a potential actor for Thrawn, and not knowing about the character, I was just like, okay, that's a big name actor. I wonder if they'd be good. And they said they didn't want this actor, but this friend, love him to death. They like things that aren't mainstream because the name is a name that is very established, and it's a name that has done a lot of things with Disney, but is not currently committed. The concept of Grand Admiral Thrawn being played by Robert Downey Jr. What do you think? Like, eh, I have to say, it would probably be interesting, if nothing else, to see Downey in a villain role after being the literal savior that is Iron Man. That to see him sort of, follow Mark Hamill in the hero gone villain uh, progression there, but I don't know. And like I said, this is at best a rumor. I saw one post and it had no article, so I have no idea if there's any legs to this, but I find it amusing. And now that I'm starting to get more context for Thrawn, I'm curious if you have any opinion.
not not to discredit Downey at all. He is a phenomenal actor. He is a wonderful human being. I love everything that he has ever done. Everything he's ever touched is absolute gold. Grand Admiral Thrawn has a certain, like, honestly, a certain aura about him that just adds to his personality that I don't see Robert Downey Jr. being able to faithfully replicate. I'm not saying he wouldn't do a good job in his in making his own iteration of Grand Admiral Thrawn. I'm sure he would do quite well. I just
But there's a
don't
reason
know.
that Downey Jr. is a better hero actor than a villain actor.
Most definitely, yes. Um, you got me racking my brain now, trying to think of like if I could, like, who would be my dream cast for Grand Admiral for a live
Because one
action
thing I'll
Grand
say, like
Admiral
one of
Thrawn.
my favorite villainous actors of our time is already in it, and it's Giancarlo Esposito. That I did not watch a lot of Breaking Bad, but I ate up the scenes with Gus Fring. I have honestly felt that Giancarlo Esposito is one of the most underrated villainous actors in Hollywood today. And I was thrilled to see him in Mandalorian season 1, and he continues to deliver in Mandalorian season 2. It's certainly not a spoiler to say that he is back in season 2. That was literally the stinger of season 1. So that is beyond statute of limitations. I won't say anything more, but Giancarlo Esposito is still a very talented actor. But that also takes off, one of my what would be, sleeper picks because he's already there. So I don't really know, because I don't think that they would go with anyone who has ever played a Marvel villain, because that's too obvious. Like they're not going to get Josh Brolin
No.
to play him. That's not going to happen.
Um, Gosh, you got me.
Well,
You got me racking my brain now, thinking about like who would I cast as a live action Grand Admiral Thrawn? Shit.
well, while we have that spinning in the background, did you have any other gaming news?
Any other
'Cause
gaming news?
we sort of
No.
veered off the path here of just all right. We went from consumer electronics, and then we were on Lucasfilms, but then we went into some Star Wars canon, and now we're thinking of Hollywood.
I mean, that's like it's. All right, let's be
It's been a
real.
fun one though. It's been a fun one.
Oh yeah, like if we talk about video games for 5 fucking minutes on this show, it still qualifies as a gaming podcast. I don't care.
Yay, technicalities.
Honestly, this whole thing, like pretty much all this thing has been, for like the past several episodes, is just you and me sitting down for a few hours and just
Just
nerding
jamming.
the fuck out. about
Yeah.
whatever we want to talk about. And honestly, I'm completely fine with that. As long as we talk about gaming for at least 5 minutes, it still counts in my book. It's still like the title still is justified. Also, it's my show. I do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And if you got a problem, with
Now
that,
I'm
there's.
thinking more though. Just like, ugh.
I was gonna say, and if you got a problem with that, there's the door. Oh damn it.
What age range is Thrawn? Like, is he an older, seasoned guy, or is he, like a young, uh, brilliant mind?
As far as like to equate him to human years, because he is an alien, he's a chiss, and I'm not sure what their general lifespan is, or what like at what age they typically reach maturity. I would definitely put him probably late 40s to early 50s. So he's
Okay, so this is not. He's graying, but not gray.
yeah, like he's been around the block a few times, and he like I said, he is a Star Wars, like he's the Star Wars equivalent of Sun Tzu. Like he knows
Is he big? Like, is he like thin and fit and chiseled, or is this like a large, bulbous alien type of thing?
oh no, he's very humanoid. Um, he's humanoid in appearance. His main features that set him apart are his blue skin and red eyes. But other than that, his overall shape is very human.
Is he generally portrayed as like average build? Is he larger and wider? Where are we talking on the physical spectrum?
He's I'd say probably like slimmer and very very fit. Like
Okay.
he's very athletic.
Hmm.
And like despite him being a very high ranking officer, he can absolutely hold his own in one-on-one hand-to-hand combat. Like he's not afraid to get his own hands dirty if he has to.
Yeah.
Like he's not one to hide behind subordinates when it comes down to a battle. No, like he'll get in there. He'll throw hands and he'll fire a blaster at you. So
Okay, so here's something. Generally speaking, people of the Empire are portrayed with accents.
yes,
Generally speaking, English accents, but not always. But it's always a European accent of some form or fashion. A couple potential ones. Oh dang it! Why am I playing on his name now? Shoot! That's gonna bug me. It was there on the tip of my tongue, and then it was gone. Oh well. Well, there's. I had two. I've forgotten the first, but the second, one of my other favorite villainous actors, who I think is also underrated, despite having won a Oscar for his performance as a villain, Christoph Waltz.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that name.
He was Colonel Hans Landa in Inglourious Bastards. Did you see Inglourious Bastards?
No.
You should see Inglourious Bastards. It's really good. Plus, any movie about just killing Nazis is a good time.
Oh, I'm not gonna argue with you there. How do you spell his name?
Chris, Toph, Waltz, is spelled like Waltz the dance, but he's German, so Christoph Waltz. Yeah, I'll send you some scenes of his after the show. Great actor, and he is known for playing villains. But anyways, like
You know what? He just like looking at his like facial structures, he might be able to pull it off.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to send you some clips after we finish.
I,
But I think we might be near the end of our time, anyways. We've almost been at this for an hour and a half now.
almost an hour and a half. Yeah, I'd say maybe about like an hour 15 right now. After pre-show, but
Yeah.
we've been going pretty good.
And YouTube hasn't blown up, thank goodness.
YouTube hasn't blown up. No, the stream has remained connected this whole time. I've been keeping an eye on it. Everything looks beautiful, and I don't have to download and re-upload the file because I'm streaming straight to the channel, so it saves anyway.
Yay!
So yay, less work for me. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and call it there for tonight. Like I said at the beginning, changes to the merch store and launching my Patreon. I'll be going into more detail on that on Twitter at ReachesBeast over the coming weekend, so just keep an eye on that for more details. I'll probably be posting a video to this channel outlining everything that's going to be going on. But Season 2 of the LAN Party Podcast is officially underway. It's 2021. It's a new year. New horizons ahead of us. Joel,
no, New Horizons was last year. New Horizons was last March. We had a whole thing about it being the game of the year.
Breaking news! Joel has been banned from the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, bye.
I'm kidding. You can stay.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank you to everyone tuning in. I assume we'll be back next week, same time. We'll find something to talk about, I'm sure.
We'll figure it out. If not, we may just divert to more general purpose geekery. Well, one thing that people have to look forward to next week, next Saturday, January 23rd at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Digital Era Entertainment, we have our first radio drama presentation of 2021, Shakespeare's Star Wars: The Jedi Doth Return, Star Wars Part the Sixth. It is Shakespeare Star Wars. We did The Empire Striketh Back last year and had such a good time that we decided to finish out the original trilogy. Taylor, you are playing the Emperor.
Yes, I am, and I'm looking forward to it. So
yes, and I get to have quite a few scenes with you because I am Luke.
Also, we're low on time because I've already started the music.
Oh no!
But anyway,
well, hey, makes for a good outro.
All right, well, yeah, the Jedi Death Return coming up next Saturday, and we'll plug it again at the end of next week's podcast.
Yeah.
Before then, but thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful night, and we will. I will see you all tomorrow night back on Twitch for some more Galacticraft with the Nerds and Noobs. Until then, y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in.